I want to show you guys a few of my favorite hamstring exercises that I do using the straps. So everyone loves these straps, and so the more you can kind of do with them, I feel, the spicier, the more exciting your treatment sessions can be. So we're going to start off lying on your back. We're going to grab a Pilates ball. This is about 10 inches in diameter, nice and soft. So let's see if I can do this without dropping the ball here. I've got my gear bar all the way out to 1, and then same thing with the stopper, but that's just because I'm short, and that's where I like it. But if your client wants to be a little bit further out for their comfort, that's absolutely fine. Just remember the settings you're using. I'm at 1 medium spring and 1 heavy spring, so 1 blue and 1 red. We've got the squishy right in between the ankles. Legs are reaching long up towards the ceiling. And we're going to remember that those hamstrings, or those lateral hamstrings anyway, really help with hip extension as well as external rotation. So we're going to fire away at both of those motions at the same time. We've got some nice energy in those straps, pressing through hip extension, but at the same time, we're going to come through external rotation by moving the feet or the ankles along the ball. Coming back through to full range internal rotation, and then external rotation. So we're turning the legs or the thigh bones, spinning them in, and then spinning them out. If you don't have anything going on with your hamstrings, or if your client's fine, they may not feel much happening at all. But if they're recovering from any type of an injury, this might be a nice challenge to start with, especially if we get into working on endurance. Okay, so the next one, we're gonna drop that ball, come back in for a minute, lose 1 strap, and I'm gonna change the settings to 1 heavy spring or 1 red. I've got this foot bar a little bit lower, and you'll see why. We're gonna put 1 foot in the strap only. Which strap do I have? I have this one. Okay, right side, right foot. Here we go. So we're gonna do this nice scissor where we've got this nice hamstring or eccentric hamstring movement happening here, and then pressing through concentric hamstring. So we're getting a nice stretch on the contralateral leg, and then some nice concentric work on the other side when we push through. So here we go. So concentric on this right leg, and then eccentric. When my clients are doing this, I really like to cue them for keeping their waist nice and parallel or nice and long. There should be a focus on the hip sockets doing all of the movement, because we don't want them going through side flexion or wiggling in the pelvis, and really focusing on more so that hip. If we want to change ranges, let's say, and get through more end range in that hip, we can do 3-point kneel, which is one of the classical Pilates exercises. So I've got my reformer box. I'm gonna put it onto the carriage a little bit closer to one side. I'll be demonstrating my right leg, so I'm gonna bring it towards the camera. We've got a couple inches here just for safety, because we don't want it tipping. And then of course, a little sticky mat just to make sure nothing is going to move that we don't want to move. Let's take that strap. If you're able to, I strongly recommend looping the strap in half to really be able to hook it around the heel, and I'll show you what I mean. Let's drop that spring weight down to a medium spring or 1 half spring. Let's come around to the side here so you can see how to get on. We're going to put 2 hands onto the box, 1 leg up, and then the other one, just for safety. And then we'll grab that strap, rein ourselves in, put that onto the foot. And you see how I'm just grabbing 1 strap and hooking it over the heel? That's just gonna make it a lot more secure, so there's less focus on keeping the strap from falling off and more focus on the actual exercise. Okay, so we're letting that rope out till it's taut. 2 hands on the front corners, 1 leg back. I've got this sort of tripod shape between my 2 hands and that back knee, and it's really important to keep this back hip from collapsing to the side or sort of flaring out through adduction. We're letting that working leg long, trying to keep somewhat neutral through the spine, big long stretch in that hamstring, and then press all the way through up to neutral hip extension. So coming all the way down into the front, and you go as far as you want to, whatever works for your client, depending on their flexibility, depending on their abilities here. If you want to spice it up, we're going to go into a little bit of abduction. So we're going to make a nice little semicircle, and back to the front, just like that. So you can sort of see I'm losing my core here. I'm starting to side flex. So again, a really great time to reference or cue for long parallel waist. So if I can try to maintain some nice length through here and then come forward, I find that really helpful for my clients. So yes, it's a hamstring exercise, but this one does have a lot more core than the previous one. Okay, so how to get out. Bring the knees forward onto the box, sit back onto the heels, find some slack in the rope, and you can just slide that off. All right, and those are my favorite hamstring exercises for feet and straps.